keynote speaker, Professor Leah Turley. Please give her a round of applause before I even introduce her. Leah Turley is the assistant professor of theater performance at the Marshall University School of Theater and Dance. She's the creative artistic director for Appalachian Arts Collective and the artistic director for Marshall University Theater, etc. They performed at the Edinburgh Fringe Festival this summer. Yes, they are amazing. Leah returned to West Virginia in 2012 after earning her master's degree in theater performance and joining Actors Equity, the National Stage Actors Union, with the goal of establishing a professional regional theater in West Virginia. Leah is dedicated to producing engaging and imaginative theater that reflects the cultural and historical significance of West Virginia. In addition to all of this, she is one of the most incredible professors I've ever had the honor of being a student of, and it is my great honor to welcome her to the stage tonight as our keynote speaker.
This is like an excellent space, by the way. You can call it a lecture hall all you want, but I know a theater when I see one. I wanted to first thank you for inviting me. I've always kind of had a strange obsession with Yeager scholars. Like, you're so smart. I'm a theater person. I am medium smart at best. So you're so dedicated to what you do. Your aspirations are so huge. So thank you. You represent some of the brightest and best students in our country, so thank you so much. And as you know, I was invited to speak tonight by one of your own, Miss Sierra Lutz. I love Sierra. The first time I saw Sierra was in a production of Decision Height at the School of Theater and Dance. I looked at her and I thought, who is this girl? She was so curious and she was fearless. And the kind of people I'm remarkably interested in. I had so many questions, like, who is she? Where is she from? And I soon got my answer to all of those questions because Sierra auditioned for my production of She Kills Monsters, and she earned the lead role. So I learned all these amazing things about her. I learned that she's an amazing artist, she's an amazing student, and one of the things I learned is that she is a devout member of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. I am so intrigued. I am, by people of faith in the theater. The contemporary theater has not been a friendly place to people of faith. And that's antithetical to the ethos of the art and the industry of theater, which says, we love everyone. Everyone is welcome in the theater, unless you have different political or religious views than us. Which always annoyed me to no end, because from a historical perspective, theater has always been tied to religion. So allow me to explain. In 8500 BC is the emergence of what you would know today as theater, right? And that all becomes about because of the sun. So stick with me. So in the Stone Age, in the Neolithic period, we're coming out of this huge ice age. And for the first time, we are building homes. We are staying in place for one time. Finally, we're no longer wandering the earth. And when we do that, we face struggles that we didn't know we would face. We face famine, because we didn't know a single thing about cultivating crops, right? Like, we thought we could take a seed from over there and put it over here and like things would be the same. And that's what led to famine. And then also we started experiencing disease. We've never lived this close together before. So we're just like coughing in each other's faces. Like, we don't know anything about sanitation, we're just pooping in the streets. You know what I mean? Like, we don't know anything. So we experienced disease for the first time. And also, we had been in an ice age, so we weren't used to dramatic climate changes. We didn't know what a season was, and then all of a sudden it was raining for 3 months. And so, as humans are wont to do, we looked for somebody to blame for our misery. And so we looked out into the sky and we looked at the biggest thing we would ever see, the thing that warms us during the day, the thing that grows our crops, the thing that melted away that chilly ice age, and we said, this is the fault of the sun. And so we tried to find ways to appease the sun. So first we were like, I don't know, maybe you would like some crops. So we handed it half of our harvest. And sometimes that worked, and sometimes that didn't. And then we were like, up the ante. We're gonna kill an animal for the sun god. So we started sacrificing animals. And then we thought, well, that's not good enough. We're gonna have to kill a few humans for this sun, right? And then, when that didn't work, we decided to get really creative. And so we decided to start singing and dancing for the sun, which is the emergence of theater people. If your solution to famine, disease, and natural disaster is a song and dance number, we have created theater people. Okay? So now, as a whole tribe, we are singing and dancing together to hopefully make the sun happy. But pretty soon we realized maybe not all of us are good at singing and dancing. So, if Tommy can't clap on the 2 and the 4, right? Tommy gets kicked out, not of the tribe, just out of this group. We're like, you sit over here, sure. You just stand over there and give us some love. And so then Sally can't harmonize and she can't sing on pitch. So she had to go sit over with Tommy. And that also creates the first audience. So we now have a group of dedicated singers and dancers, specialized performers, whose job it is to sing and dance for the sun, right? Well, as you might imagine, sometimes that worked, and sometimes that didn't. And so now this group of specialized performers becomes responsible for reenacting what will become mythology. They're personifying the wind god and the river god and the tree god. And now we're representing animals, and we're responsible for reenacting the very complicated interpersonal relationships of all of these gods. And that then helped us understand seasonal changes. It helped us understand remarkably basic sanitation, or ways like maybe not to kill each other. We learned so much from that experience, and what was created out of it was theater, and also polytheistic religion. Theater and religion are intricately connected. Unless you think that's where the connection ends, I will remind you that a great number of Appalachian vocalists and actors take the stage for the first time at church. The first time they ever sing on stage alone is in a sanctuary. The first time that they ever are in a play is the nativity play. If the first spark of creation happens in church, who am I to deny how they came to be in my classroom? Right? Miss Lydia, we understand each other. I really enjoy you. But there are a few places left for young actors to try out these skills. We have all but gotten rid of arts education in public school. So where else do they have to go except for community and religious theater organizations? And we owe so much of our talent to kids who went to church. I owe so much to choir directors who taught a kid how to harmonize and sing on pitch. I owe so much to the director who taught Little Mary and Little Joseph the difference between upstage and downstage. That is doing the Lord's work as far as I'm concerned. But chief among all of the religious connections is a concept that has endured every single society on the face of this planet, that is a major religious tenet for every religion on this planet. Do unto others as you would have them do unto you. The golden rule. Walk a mile in someone else's shoes. What we're talking about is empathy. The lifeblood of the theater is empathy. You cannot have empathy without imagination. If you cannot imagine yourself in someone else's circumstances, then you cannot have empathy. Actors are charged every single day to defend the actions and the needs and the wants of their characters, regardless of if those characters are good or bad. They must empathize. They must use their imagination to empathize. Empathy and imagination are the cornerstone of the golden rule. And you would think, in a society that highly prizes the golden rule, that skills like empathy and imagination would be incredibly marketable. And yet, they are known as a set of skills called soft skills. Oh, that makes me so mad just saying it. Real soft things like interpersonal skills, creativity, social emotional intelligence, public speaking. Do you know that the #1 fear of Americans is public speaking? The thing I'm doing right now, the majority of people in this room are more afraid of famine, natural disaster, and disease than what I am doing right now. And that's soft. So, I got to thinking. I'm gonna make sure I'm on the right page for it. Actor. So, I got to thinking, how many among our Yeager scholars are enrolled in soft majors? You know, oh, I know this. I'll help you, I'll tell you. And by soft majors, I mean your theater majors, your creative writers, your music educators, right? I got you. It's 16%. 16% of Yeager scholars are enrolled in soft majors. 54% of you are enrolled in STEM majors. Now listen, I get it. It's not easy to go to your parents and say, I want to be an actor. It's not like any of us in this room would be concerned if there were a national actor shortage. Right? You wouldn't be like concerned, you wouldn't be calling your senator. You're like, this is wrong. But I think that's because we've taken acting, television, film, theater, we have taken those things for granted because they have always been there. Across time, we have looked to storytellers in our greatest times of happiness and in our greatest moments of sorrow. Your favorite piece of art transformed you. It made you think differently about who you were and the world around you. And we, Appalachians, have been represented by the likes of Jennifer Garner and Don Knotts. Our socioeconomic struggles, our cultural struggles, those have been represented in movies like Megwan and October Sky. Our own, We Are Marshall, shared our story of triumph and tragedy with the world. Actors did that. Creatives did that. Soft skills created that movie. In fact, soft skills in Appalachia are super important for how we represent ourselves. Because Appalachian children lag behind verbally and socially for any number of factors. They're ashamed of their regional dialect. They lack confidence. Direct communication and confrontation can be seen as rude culturally. Any number of those factors, for any children, that's dangerous. But it's specifically dangerous for children in West Virginia. West Virginia has the highest rate of children in foster care in the United States. Routinely, children are removed from their homes for any number of reasons, from drug addiction to physical, emotional, sexual abuse, malnourishment. And as broken as our system is, in order for the system to work, someone has to speak up. Someone has to have the nuts to say something. And so oftentimes it's a teacher or it's a trusted adult, but more often than not, it's the child themselves who steps forward and says what's happening to them. Only then does the system jump to action. See, confidence, social, emotional intelligence, vocal projection, these aren't just skills for the stage. These skills are about safety. These skills are about standing up for yourself. You want someone to hear you? Speak up. But where do children learn those skills? Some will say they learn them at home. So my question is, what about the vast number of children who don't have homes? Or who don't have parents to care for them? Who don't have someone to stand up for them? Where do they learn to speak confidently? There is no subject that teaches what the theater teaches. There is no academic subject, there is no athletic equivalent to what the theater is teaching my students every single day. And so, to the 54% of STEM majors who are Yeager scholars, your work, the work that you're doing, that could potentially save us from the next pandemic, that could potentially solve the climate crisis, that can end childhood hunger, none of that is possible without empathy. Otherwise, what is your impetus for doing it? If you can't see yourself in the situation of someone else, what reason do you have to solve a stranger's problems? And also, you cannot do any of your work without imagination. I would love to see you come up with your next discovery without imagination. And I have searched and searched through the math and science classes, and I have yet to find a single class that teaches you imagination. And here I am over in the theater department, teaching imagination every day. That's right, you can take a college class that will teach you how to strengthen your imagination. Because you see, soft skills are survivalist skills. See, when we were evolving, we knew we had to communicate or we would die. So, we invented language. And with that language, we wrote poems and plays and prayers and songs and stories. And see, as we evolved, we needed to build shelter. So we built shelter and we called it a home and we filled it with the things and the people that we love. But see, that first linguist, right, the first person who came up with language had no idea what that invention would become. Had no idea how we would use it to question everything. And that first architect who built a house had no idea what it would come to mean. Had no idea that for some people, a house, a home, would be a place of support and love for some, and a place of tragedy and trauma for others. Right? Kind of. He had no idea what his invention would become. You have no idea what your inventions or your discoveries will become. So you have a huge responsibility to think about your next discovery. How does it benefit humanity? Because you are not just problem solvers. You're trying to build the next house. That's big stuff. And so, I'll remind you of this. No one solves their favorite math problem in times of sorrow. They listen to a song. There is no scientific experiment that can match the feeling of watching your favorite movie with your significant other for the first time. So, the reason you do what you do, the reason you're solving the world's biggest and most complicated problems is so that we can continue to have these experiences. Because otherwise, what is the point? The point cannot be to be more productive at work. The point cannot be to churn out more widgets. That cannot be the point. The point has to be that you are solving problems that gives us time to live more life, not less of it. And art helps us live more life. And so, before I land this plane, I'd like to extend an invitation to all Yeager scholars. I would like to invite you to be my personal guest to any production at Marshall University School of Theater and Dance. And while I would love for all of you to leave here and immediately change your majors to theater, I am a realist and know that will not happen. But I want to welcome you to the theater anyway. So that if you are looking to flex your empathy muscles, if you are looking to strengthen your imagination, come take one of our classes. Because I mean it when I say everyone has a place in the theater. Everyone. Oh, and one more thing. The next time you watch your favorite film, the next time you pass by We Are Marshall playing on a loop in the Student Center, I would like you to think, soft skills did that. And then I want you to hear my voice in your head going, you're welcome. So, thank you so much for having me. I hope you have a lovely evening, and I hope you enjoy whatever you will watch on television when you get home. Thank you, and go Herd.
Absolutely, 100%. Before we leave tonight, senior Yeager scholars, will you go grab the gift baskets from the green room? Our speakers tonight, would you come up to the front of the stage so we can give you a final round of applause and a small token of our appreciation to Sasa, Rahul, Jamie, Leah, and then Sam Phelan of APO, if you would so kindly join us. You can just stand on the, no, also come up. Yeah, come on. Come on, APO, represent. We all get, another round of applause. Yes. We are so grateful for all these wonderful human beings for being a part of our symposium tonight. We have a small token of appreciation. We have gift baskets that are coming to all of you from our wonderful Yeager scholars, in addition to an honorarium of $500 for your time and effort given to us for this event. So thank you all so much, and go ahead and give them another round of applause. Yeah. And I will invite you, one final thing before we go tonight. I have little printouts over there on the table. Now playing Arts in Appalachia. I hope you were moved by the things that you heard today to either join the arts or support the arts. And on this little 5x7 is all of the arts that could fit on a 5x7 happening in the next month in our region. That is theater, that is music, that is art, that is comedy nights. And there's also links there for other resources you can go to check them out. So please, please support the arts in Appalachia, and please have a wonderful night. Thank you all so much for coming.